there. It's Tuesday, the 9th of November, 2021. Welcome along to our little daily, well, we can do daily, well, a little daily chat show gang. Today, after our swimming, went swimming this morning as usual, and after that, my mate went up to pick up one of the VW cars for a test drive. The electric car, the VW ID3. They've got two models that are VW at the moment. They've got an ID3 and an ID4. ID5 is coming very soon, and each one is a little bit bigger. So we had the smallest one out of the three. And we went down to the VW garage in Camberley to pick it up. And he's got it for 24 hours. I went down to pick it up with him. And then he came round again at night after I'd been to his mum's house. And we went out for a little drive then. But when we went down to pick it up, this is what we saw. Very nice colour, as you can see. Really nice sort of shade of silver. Not the same kind of shade have you seen on other cars. I don't know, it's something different about that silver. As you can see, nice wheels there. Those two lights actually turn with your steering wheel, believe it or not. You can't see it there. I don't know why they're flashing. I think that's something to do with the camera. But a very, very nice car. We'll have a look inside as well. Lovely seats. He's just talking to the VW lady there and receiving a little bit of instruction about the buttons and what have you.
You have got park assist on it if you wanted to use that.
I'll get them to show that when I get if I get the new one, yeah.
And then you've got your cruise control and everything there.
Is this active cruise control?
Yes, it is. That's a standard feature on this car.
Okay, wonderful. So all I have to do is indicate and it will just speed up and go around.
It can. You need to set it though.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you get all your settings right on here,
yeah.
When you're driving, you can set that. So once you're over 20 miles an hour,
yeah,
you just press that and you can calculate how many.
Hello.
How's it going so far, lovey?
It's very nice. It's lovely to drive. It's very quiet. It's.
Did you see that? We went for a nebula then.
Heated steering wheel. Oh. I'm very, very pleased about that. This model is 2 models down. I'm going to get the top of the range one if I decide that I want this.
Surprise.
But it comes with so much. I mean, it's wonderful. It's very nice.
How does it feel? Is it just like driving a normal car?
It is just like driving a normal car. It's just like driving a normal car.
One thing I don't like is that gear type thing.
I like that there because it's just there. It's easy.
I'd rather that in the centre. Sort of, you know, where a normal gear stick or the automatic car thing is. So that's how you do it. And what are those different things? You twist it, the drive,
reverse, and brake regeneration.
What's it in now then? And are you driving with
just
one foot here?
Yeah, at the moment I am. I just take my foot off and it will slow down.
Will it? Yeah. Does that depend on what the regeneration?
What on the regeneration thing is? That's on the side.
Oh, okay.
So you can change that.
Oh, thanks very much for this short interview.
Yeah, I know. Thank you.
Wait till you hear the sound it makes. Oh, we're loving the noise. And off he goes. Bye. Bye, bitch. Wonderful. And that's the little, I mean, it's hardly an in-depth car review, but you know, if you just want a quick idea, that'll do you, won't it? There's plenty of other videos around on YouTube. People, blokes and ladies that are really into their cars, and they will go down to the sort of stitching on the seats and things like that. That was just a quick show around of what we took out today. Once going back to that gear stick thing, I've got to tell you, you noticed a D and B there. Now, D means drive, okay? Just drives. And you actually do use the accelerator and the brake with that. Or there's B, which is like regenerative braking. So whenever you take your foot off the accelerator, it slows it down. Now, I'm not a technician. I've got a feeling this is something to do with magnets and motors. Okay? So it slows you down without actually using the brakes. Now, you don't come to an immediate stop. So having the regenerative braking thing on will take you a while to learn how to judge that, because it does take a certain amount of time to slow down, if you see what I mean. So if you see a red light, I don't know, 20 yards in front of her, you take your foot off the accelerator then, rather than, mind you, some of the people around here, they can't even use bleaking gears around here. How many people can't use gears? You hear it? Oh, you should have changed the gear 10 minutes ago. Of course, you don't have any of that with an electric car. But we were coming back. That was a quick trip back from the garage. That was my house, around my house at the end there. Then he went to his mother's and came back here later. Now, we were supposed to go to London, but we discovered there was only... you may have noticed there he had 210 miles battery range on that car. By the time he got back here from his mother's, it had gone down to 70. And I said, well, that ain't going to get us to and from London. He said, yes, it is. It's only 30 miles each way. I said, yeah, with nothing to spare. You see, my mate is someone, he will work something out and he doesn't leave room for error. That's why he's always bloody late all the time for everything. You know, he will try and fit too much into a day with no room for error at all. It's like appointments. The rows we have about appointments, if I've got to be somewhere and he's said, oh, I'll drive you today, he will go on the traffic app and work out it's exactly 1 hour and 6 minutes and turn up here at 1 hour and 6 minutes. So then you start biting your nails as soon as you get to... I can't bear it. Can't bear it. But 70 miles and it wasn't enough. Well, in actual fact, he did start driving because he said, well, we'll charge it at the other end at a Shell petrol station or something like that. And we got going, and then it was a bit late. He was an hour late getting here. But he had problems at his mum's house. His dad's not very well at the moment, so completely understandable. And we started driving along, and I just happened to bring up the restaurant on the app, on the internet, on the phone in the car, and it said it was closing at 9:30. Well, it was already like 20 to 9, so there's no way we'd make it. And I was pleased in a way because I knew we didn't have enough battery to get there and back. So we came back here and decided to go to Nando's. Do you remember a couple of weeks ago I told you I'd never ever been to a Nando's? So we went last night, and I have to say I was impressed. Now, this is a place that lots of young people seem to go at weekends and something like that. So I wanted to try that. So me and him, we walked in there, and I said I'd never... And there was so many staff in there. Loads of staff. They're all like about 20, 22, 23 years old, all youngsters. And I said, well, I've never been in here. What do we do? He said, would you want to order here or take out? I said, no, we want to sit down, please. He said, okay, come with me. And he took us over to this table, this young lad, and put a bit of paper down with all the menu and stuff like that. I ordered the veggie burger, and we had halloumi sticks to start with. I had a veggie burger. He didn't want a main meal, wasn't hungry. And some corn on the cob. I do like a corn on the cob, don't you? Oh, yeah. I don't put anything on it. Just plain corn on the cob. Do you have yours like that at all? How do you have your corn on the cob? Eh? How do you have yours? Literally, usually if I do it myself, I do it in the microwave. 3 or 4 minutes, that's it. Done. Oh, nibble away at this. And it was a whole one, not bits. Was a whole one, so we ordered 3 of those and we shared those. The halloumi stick things with a little bit of some sort of red chili sauce, which was absolutely delicious. And the burger, I've got to be honest, the burger wasn't all that. It was one of those like mashed up things that kind of falls apart when you're eating it. I didn't dislike it. I just didn't think it was all that. I mean, that was the only vegetarian thing in there. And you could have it like as a burger or as a wrap or as something else. I can't remember what the other thing is. Anyway, but that come with chips. Decent chips. Yeah, decent chips. They weren't far off chips that you'd get in a chip shop. They certainly weren't French fries. Those little skinny things in McDonald's and blooming Burger King. They were decent chips, and they put some sort of spice on there, which was very, very tasty. And it was all nice, and bottomless Coke. Very tasty, yeah. Yeah, we were impressed by Nando's. Pricey, yeah, 32 quid for that lot. Man, not cheap. Not cheap. And remember, he never had a main meal. You know, it wasn't cheap in there. However, I'm glad I went there. We had a nice time. We took a little photo while we was in there. Where's that now? There we go. That's me and him in Nando's. There we are. All right, you see the size of those corn on the cobs there. You know, they're proper size there. Anyway, after that, we got back in the ID3, the VW ID3, went to Morrison's, got a couple of little bits and pieces in there, and we got chatting to the woman who looks after the self-service checkout. It was about 10 to 10 now. I said, we've come in a bit late, haven't we? You close at 10, didn't you? No, 11 o'clock. I didn't know that. Morrison's close at 11 o'clock. I only went in there for their bread. I told you, we've discovered the supermarket that does, by far, the best bread. Certainly better to the Sainsbury's bread. That's always a bit tasteless. The Aldi bread is always in a plastic bag and it's just... Nah. The Waitrose bread is very, very nice, but the Morrison's bread beats them all by far. And we went in for a couple of those out. So we got a couple of those out and a few other bits and pieces. We got talking to the lady on the self-service checkout. Oh, she did make us laugh. She said, you should come in on Friday. I said, you'll be busy on Friday night late, aren't you? She said, yeah. She said, all the kids come in. And they come up. Oh, I've got ID. Filling their little carrier bags with bottles of wine and blooming lager and all that. Oh, we did that as well, didn't we? You know? Did you ever go on a school trip? How many of you went on a school trip and filled up the Coca-Cola or half of the Coca-Cola bottle with dark martini? Yes, you did that as well, didn't you? All slaughtered on this coach. Kids, 15 years old. Happy days, happy days. And we got our shopping and we left there. And I said, are you in regenerative brake mode? He said, I don't know. I said, well, you see that thing at the top there, D and B? I said, B is regenerative. Is it just one setting B, or is there several B settings? You know, because you can have like one might be slight regenerative, two, and each one is more powerful when you come off the brake, you see. He said, I don't know. And then I said, well, push it and see. When I say push it, I said twist it. I said twist it and see what happens. And that's how you do it. Twist like that. Twist drive, twist regenerative braking, twist neutral, twist reverse. Right? But on the side of the button is a parking button. He's only going to push that. And this bloody car come to a sudden... It was a good job there was no one behind us. This car come to a sudden stop. He said, what have I done? I said, you've put the handbrake on. But, you know, it's... You got frightening, that was. But it's one of those things, you know, you've got to get used to a new car. I really don't like that thing up there. I want it in the middle. You know, the same where automatic gear stick is or gear stick, you know, automatic stick is, or the gear stick is always in the middle, and they've put it on the side. I don't think they're the only ones who've done that. Other manufacturers have done that as well. It's not, I don't like it at all over there, but we'll see what the Toyota does when it comes out next year. But all in all, very comfortable drive, so quiet, and I love that noise it makes. You heard the noise when it was pulling round, didn't you? Yeah, I love that noise. Now, that noise kicks in up to about, I think, 15 mile an hour, and then it's silent after that. The idea is, you know, you wouldn't have people listening out of a car running across a motorway, but you would if you were driving sort of 10, 15 mile an hour, pedestrians and things like that. And that noise has been put on, I believe all electric cars have got to have some sort of noise on it. You heard the VW one. A really interesting one is the Fiat 500 electric. You've got to hear that. It's beautiful. That's all I can describe it as, a beautiful, beautiful sound. It's like some sort of Italian opera, you know, or classical piece of music. If you get the chance to look that up on YouTube, I thought about playing it for you, but that may well be a piece of copywritten music, so I can't really play that to you. But look that up, the noise that the Fiat 500 electric makes on YouTube, and you'll come across with something there. We then went to the Shell petrol station to check about charging and all that business. And I mean, it really isn't as straightforward as you would think. You know, there's all sorts of different charging things to do. You can have DC, you can have AC, you can have 7 kilowatts, you can have 50 kilowatts. That's the ones that they had at the Shell garage. There's also 100 kilowatts and 150 kilowatts at some stations, which is all well and good. And the higher the number, the quicker your car will charge. But your car may not be able to take that fast charge. You know, it's not a one-size-fit-all having an electric car. It's not like a petrol, you know. I mean, you get a couple of choices of petrol. As you know, you've got an E5 now and an E10, which we talked about the other day, or diesel. That's basically it, isn't it? You know, with electric, there's more choice, and you kind of got to know what you're doing. And then you have to work out how to pay for the damn stuff. And this particular one was charging 40... I think it was 43 pence for 1 kilowatt. So work that out, 43 pence for 1 kilowatt. If you've got, say, a 50 kilowatt battery, so that's going to cost you 43 pence for 1 kilowatt, £4.30 for 10 kilowatts, so it's 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, about £20 to charge. £20 to charge a car up. A lot cheaper than electricity, than petrol. But of course, if you can charge at home, it's going to be a lot cheaper because you're probably paying somewhere around 15 to 25 pence, somewhere in there, per kilowatt hour. At the garage, they were charging 48 pence. Of course, you have to understand they've got a network to maintain, staff to pay, all that. If you're plugging it at home, you're already paying for all that. So it is, of course, a lot cheaper, although slower, to charge up at home. And if, like me, you can't get to your electrical socket from the house, then you don't have an option other than going to a petrol station to plug your electric car in there. So lots to think about there. I know he liked it. He was a bit concerned about the range. You know, to go to London and back again and have gone from 210 miles to 70 miles, he wasn't sure how that had happened. I would imagine that he'd done the miles and just didn't realise it, you know. You know how quickly you can clock up miles in a car, don't you? Doesn't take long. You suddenly look down and half your tank is gone, isn't it? VW ID3. Why don't you have a test drive? Don't cost you anything, does it? You know, go and have a test drive. Maybe one of the other electric cars. There's loads. I quite like the Skoda one. I liked the chunkiness of the front of the electric Skoda. Go and have a go yourselves. All right? Let's do some of your messages then. Hello to Sprinter Van. Hello, Mr. Sprinter Van. Carl is in the house. Hello to you, sir. And Mr. Sprinter Van says, hi, Chris. On the subject of the petrol, the E5, he says you should try using Shell V-Power E5 or Tesco 99 E5. You will notice the difference. I'm sure they're better for the car and more performance. The trouble is they're so much more dearer. It's a lot dearer to buy E5 than it is E10, isn't it? They've whacked the price right. That's got to be over 150 a litre, I would imagine. Let's have a little look. Petrol price. Let's see what comes up here. Petrol price E5. Let's compare petrol prices. AA. Let's try this. Does that work? No. No, it doesn't say actually there. E10 petrol prices. Okay, 1st of September. Well, it's a month ago, isn't it? E10. Does it say what's the price of E10? E10 petrol, which is the old regular unleaded, will vary at around 135.4. E5, I beg your pardon, no, I got that the wrong way round. E10 is the new one, isn't it? So what I said before is E10, that's the normal unleaded petrol we get now. It says that will vary around 135.4 a litre. Remember, this is a month ago. The super unleaded E5 is now 140 to above 160 a litre. So there's a huge difference there now. Why? Because they don't want you to use it. That's why. They want us to use the E5 petrol, which, as we spoke about on yesterday's show, is not giving us as many miles per gallon. You've got to decide, you know, is it worth paying that extra for the E5? I don't think it is. But thank you very much to Mr. Sprinter Van. Hello to Gary Ross. Hello, Gary. He enjoyed the electric garden video, and he says, hi, Chris. Love the electric garden stuff as it's so simple and maintenance-free, as you haven't got the problem of getting covered in petrol and oil servicing the equipment. Well, this is the thing, isn't it? plug in and go. It's like I've got an electric piano downstairs. 21 years old it is. You don't have to tune them. You switch it on and it works. Same with an electric lawnmower, isn't it? I like electric. One would assume electric cars are similar as well. There can't possibly be as much to maintain on an electric car, can there? There's not that long thing. What's that thing goes from the front to the back underneath the car? Long metal tube thing. What's that? I don't know what it is. Prop shaft? Does that sound right? Prop shaft? There's no prop shaft. I don't think there's a gearbox. Just 4 electric motors on a few bits of wire. But you know they'll put the price up anyway so they don't lose. But I doubt very much that actually to maintain an electric car, it can't possibly cost as much as an electric as a petrol or diesel car. No spark plugs, no things going up and down in that engine thing, is there? He says, Gary says, I remember when I was younger, being off school in the summer holidays, trying to have a few extra hours sleep in bed. The neighbours always seemed to know you having a kip as the petrol lawnmowers and strimmers came out and they would rev these things up. When the council come round here and cut grass down, they've always got those strimmers out. I think they start about 8 o'clock in the bloody morning, dear. Shocking. He says that Gary says, I always had my bedroom window open in the summer when I slept and the fumes these things gave off was horrible. The old petrol strimmers and that, yeah. It says, nowadays, 30 years later, I'm the annoying git next door, revving the petrol mower or hedge cutter, torturing the neighbours, having a kip or barbecue with friends in their garden. Yeah, probably on a Sunday morning at about 7 a.m. Is that right, Gary? He's over there in Northern Ireland. Thank you, Gary. I love it. Hello to John Parrish, who says, nice show yesterday. You always make us happy. And sure, you do everywhere you go. Take care as always. Thank you, John. And hello to young Sherry as well. Daniel Holmes. Hello, Daniel. Long time no hear, Daniel. On the subject of Joe Biden, who I said I don't think he's a real person. He's an android, isn't he? Anyway, Daniel Holmes says, at least Commander Data seemed to have a bit of personality. Hopefully Donald will be back soon enough and all will be right with the world. Thank you, Daniel. Nice to hear from you, Daniel. And Josh Ward. Hello, Josh. How are you, Josh? I hope life is all right with you. On the subject of the firework displays, remember I was asking if anyone had been to a firework display. And Josh says, I went to a firework display on Paul Quay. Paul Quay? Quay. Quai. That's key, in it. Paul, P-W-O-L-E, Paul Quay in the southwest, and it was free of charge. Well, I hope you had a nice time there, Josh. Sounds very nice. I wish I'd been. I haven't been to a firework display for a couple of years now, as I was saying on the show yesterday. The last one I went to was at Lincoln City Football Club, not last year, the year before, with my nephew and his little family. It was great. It was great. Watching all those wonderful things go off. Anyway, thanks very much for joining us on the show today. As always, gang, if you want to put any comments about anything at all, perhaps you've tried an electric car, have you? If so, which one? And how did you find it? Was it all right? I've tried one myself. I've tried 2, the Skoda and the VW ID3, only for 20 minutes each time. He's got this car until tomorrow morning. Well, it'll be going back this afternoon, actually. Going back this afternoon. And he loves it. He loves it. But the range, 220 mile. I mean, it'd just about get me to my sister's. And then I'd have to charge up, you see. I think I'd be wanting 300 mile on a charge before I switched. Anyway, any messages, as I say, put them in the little comments underneath there. Tell us about your electric car driving experience, if you've had one. Or are you interested? Will you be looking at buying an electric car next time? And if not, why not? What's your reasons for not wanting to do that? Is it price? If I said to you in 2 years' time, electric cars will come down to you'll be able to get one for 12 grand. Now, not many people buy cars anymore. I don't buy cars anymore. You pay a certain amount a month over a certain period of time and then you swap it for another new one. That's how I do it. And a lot of people do it like that. But what will you do? Would you, if it was financially okay for you, would you be looking at buying an electric car next time? Do let us know. Thanks for joining me today. Have a nice Tuesday. Cheerio.